Bro, what are you doing?
Hey, hypothetical me for the sake of a skit. I'm just really bummed out. There were no locals last week, and I don't have any video planned for this week. What am I gonna do to fill in the blanks?
What? Bro, you're a YouTuber. You literally have to put in no effort. Just do like a deck profile or something.
That's genius! So let's just get started. First, for our starters, we run 1 Stratos, 3 Ferris, and 3 Vion. Most lists you'll see will have either 3, 2 Stratos. I can see the case for 2, but I think 1 is just fine. By far, Vision Hero Vion is the better normal summon of the deck, and Ferris is also a really good starter. However, what I don't like about Ferris is that it plays into Nibiru too much. So for this very conservative build that I'm playing, 1 Stratos is fine. Vision Hero Vion is a perfect normal summon, and you do still want to see Ferris in your initial hand, and you'll see why in a little bit. Next, for our extenders, we run Liquid Soldier, 2 Shadow Mist, 2 Increase. Obviously, Increase is the starter for the Ferris line. Some people run it at 1. I have tried it, and I really do wish I could, but I don't like how much it breaks in this version of the deck. Once Burst of Destiny comes out, I could definitely see it being cut down to 1. It is not so necessary for it to resolve, but as the deck is right now, 2 is just fine. If you draw into 1, it'll be okay. And as you guys saw in my locals vlog video, cough cough, go watch it if you haven't. Even when you start with 2 of them, it's not the end of the world. 2 Shadow Mist and 1 Liquid Soldier is pretty standard, however. Next, for the Dustin Hero package, also some extenders. Obviously 2 Malicious, 1 Dynatag, and 1 Draw Hand. Now, the reason I play Draw Hand over Celestial, which is what you usually see in these lists, is that I also main deck Droll and Lockbird, and this is also your Dynatag target when you're going to do burn damage. And I just, sometimes when you get Nibiru'd, I really like being able to get another body on the board after the standby phase on the opponent's turn so that you can go into Masty or Darklaw. Obviously, as you guys know, after Burst of Destiny, the Destiny Hero package of the deck is going to be much better. Also, I do run the 1 Plasma. A lot of people don't like running him. I really, really do. I side him out if it's not necessary. But having in the main deck, it just makes so many other matchups that would be very difficult a lot more manageable, and it provides outs that the deck normally doesn't have, even when going second. Now, that's it for my monsters. And you will notice that I do not have the Evil Hero package. Here's the thing about the Evil Hero package. I think it's not worth it. It's about $400 right now, and it does not do enough for the deck to warrant those $400. If you have that kind of money and you're able to have that and every other staple card in the meta right now, that's perfect for you. Even then though, when I ran it, I felt that it bricked too much. There's many times where you open, because when you're in a tournament, you know, this being a competitive build, you want to be as consistent as possible, and having those, you know, the Dark Calling break in the deck, actually, there was many games that I would have won and I would have ended up at first place at locals, and I couldn't because I bricked with the Evil Hero package. What I did instead is I sold it. I sold it for $400 so that I could get something that would benefit the deck a lot more, because for that kind of money, you are better off running something like Pot of Prosperity. This is my tech choice. I think Pot of Prosperity is amazing in Heroes. Heroes, your win cards are obviously the 3 Mask Change and the 3 Fusion Destiny. These cards make it so easy for you to win. Mask Change obviously gets you into Darklaw, which is one of the best monsters that deck could ever put out. Fusion Destiny is not only a starter, it's an extender. It helps with OTK. This one card gets you into Darklaw. It's amazing. So running Prosperity, it guarantees that you get to see these cards that are not usually searchable. Mask Change is, but sometimes you can't go into it without playing into Nibiru, and I really try to avoid that if I can. And there's certainly many cards in the extra deck that you don't need. Some of them are matchup dependent. Some of them you're not going to go into unless you're really going to get into a grind game. So you have no issue banishing them for the cost of seeing 3 cards and adding them to hand, or even 6 in some instances. For the next of my spells, you know, there's the Searchers, the Hero Lives, Rhoda, Foolish Burial. Now, Foolish Burial, this replaced my E-Call. Foolish Burial is kind of like another Rhoda, because you can send a Shadow Mist to the graveyard and search whatever hero monster you want, as opposed to the E-Call, which only gets you into your elemental heroes. There are many combos that requires 2 monsters in the graveyard, either Shadow Mist or a Destiny Hero monster, and sometimes you're able to get one into the graveyard but not the other. So this card is really helpful in those instances. Next, obviously you run the 1 Poly, the 1 Miracle Fusion, not much to say about these. you go into your Absolute Zero and your Sunrise. Next, for the hand traps and general defense, one Called by the Grave, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and what I also consider to be technically a hand trap, the 1 Honest Neos. So why Droll and Lockbird? You really don't have to run this one. I run this one because it's better suited for my locals, but it goes so well with the draw hand. That combo, you know, being able to go +1, get your opponent locked out of searching for the turn, and also you usually go into draw hand and then mask change so that you go into Dark Claw. So you also rip 1 card out of their hand. So you're pretty much going like +1 or +2. This could also be a Nibiru depending on what, if you want to run that. It could be many different things. Called by the Grave obviously and Elemental Hero are pretty obvious choices as well. And obviously Imperm is one of the best hand traps in the game right now, if not the best one. Next, going into the extra deck, the most important part of a hero deck. With my links, I have 2 Cross Crusader, 1 Wonder Driver, 1 Dread Decimator, and 1 Verde Anaconda. There's many times where the hero deck gonna get stopped by a hand trap, but if you have Ferris and Stratos on the field, or even Vion, and you were stopped by a hand trap, you can easily go into Paraplant Verde Anaconda so you can send the Fusion Destiny out, and at least end on a Dystopia, which is an interrupt on your opponent's turn. I've also used it in many instances to send the Miracle Fusion so that I could get the Absolute Zero on the field. It's very resourceful and also very malleable depending on the situation you're in. Obviously these cards are very standard. You could cut this one down to 1 if you wanted to. I think having 2 is really good for the grind game, especially if you go into Dystopia early, because being able to bring out a boss monster back after it's been dealt with is really helpful. Definitely after Burst of Destiny you want to run that one at 2. Next, for the Masked Heroes, you run obviously 2 Dark Claw, 1 Anki, and 1 Acid. This card is obviously very nuts, as well as Dark Claw. But the Anki, honestly, it hasn't come up that much, but the free slot is honestly pretty flexible for wherever you want it to be. And this card does help you go into OTKs that you usually wouldn't have, while also still ending on the Dark Claw. Next, for the Elemental Heroes and general polymerization targets, you have Sunrise, Absolute Zero, Screw Trinity. Sunrise is one of the best cards in the deck. You can go into this and then on a board of these 2. Without even hitting 5 summons. If you have a mask change set, it's a massive interrupt. Screw is for when you need an extra body on the field, and also for when you're locked into Dark Heroes with Miracle Fusion. And Trinity, obviously, there's so many instances where with the amount of hand traps that you're running, your opponent ends on an interrupted board, and if you're able to bring into this, it's just such an easy OTK. Heroes is amazing at OTKing with an interrupted board, which is why I run 9 hand traps. I think it's the best build that the deck has right now. And then finally, for the Dustin Heroes, Dangerous and Dystopia. Obviously this card helps you win on time by dealing burn damage. Is an interrupt, one of the few interrupts we have in the deck, by popping a card on the opponent's field during their turn. And Dangerous is a combo starter. He's going to be a lot more important for the combo. After Burst of Destiny, this card gets you into Destroy Phoenix and Forcer as well as Plasma. This card helps you go into Masked Hero Dark Claw. And that's it for the deck. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back with the local vlogs next week.